Welcome to Jockular Show, where three best friends talk all about sports and gossip. And this week we're so excited. We got to interview journalist and documentary filmmaker Nicole Teeny, who just came out with this amazing podcast with ESPN's 30 for 30 called Girl v. Horse, about how she raced fucking horses. And I'm not saying on top of them, ran next to. It's an awesome interview. It's an even better podcast, and I can't wait for you all to hear it. It'll shake you to your core.
Yeah, we find out some things about the tail.
Yeah.
Of the horses, so they will actually shake you to your very core.
Stay tuned for some tail.
You are not going to like it. Trigger
tail
warning.
facts. And we'll be right back with Nicole Teeny.
Welcome back. Today we have a special guest from ESPN's new 30 for 30 podcast, Girl v. Horse. Nicole Teeny is a filmmaker, runner, and storyteller who dives headfirst into one of the most honestly wild challenges you could imagine, racing a horse in a 50-mile ultra marathon. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us.
We're stoked to see your face because we've all been listening to your voice now.
I listened to your podcast as well, and then I was like, what do they look like? So did a little searching on the interwebs.
Yeah, a huge moment for everyone here. For all of our...
It's like the Love is Blind of internet.
Oh my gosh.
And I could talk about this season for days.
I haven't started yet, but I can't wait.
Oh,
you guys, we can't do this again.
Okay, sorry, we can't do this. Okay.
Nicole, do you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background and like what led you to create Girl v. Horse?
Would you like my background as an artist or a background as a runner?
Both.
Okay. I'm Nicole, she, her. My career by trade is being an artist, and so filmmaker and documentaryr. That's the term I've called it, I guess, documentaryr. And just came up with that on the spot, and like writer and such. And I've done a lot of projects about other folks. So this was my first directly about myself, Girl v. Horse, which is my podcast for 30 for 30. I made a documentary that had my brother in it, so now I got a chance to taste my own medicine, I guess. And as a runner, I've been running since I was in middle school, on and off. I didn't compete in college or win any fancy awards. I just liked it and stuck through it, even though I have enjoyed it since, and have done a lot of races in the last 10 years, just kind of like for fun, like those like half marathons and things like that. But I'd never raced a horse until recently.
I love you say that like we've all raced horses and
It's on the docket.
Yeah, or like marathon, half marathon.
Yeah.
I can't do friggin' like couch to 5K app.
No.
Honestly.
Is there anything in your life? I just think you must have such a special brain to run in the way that you do, like that level of dedication and focus. Is there anything in your life that has ever interested you as much as running did?
I think besides art making is probably the thing that interests me the most, but I don't know. I mean, friends, family, you
don't have to lie.
Life, but running is pretty high up there and has been, especially in recent years, but it's always been a part of me. I think it's been really nice to have something that is an identifier that's not like my career or relationship status, not just like relationship in terms of love, but like in terms of family and personhood in the world, but something that's just me, that just I'm in control of. I mean, to some extent, right?
Yeah.
But something that is in my jurisdiction that um isn't in the same way subjected to like employers or things like that. So
Yeah.
I enjoy that about sports.
No, it's so true because I feel like you talk a lot about how like, you know, with your diagnosis of epilepsy that you felt like you lost a part of yourself in trying to get back into finding yourself in running. And so could you just talk us through that process too, like or that sort of like part of your story for our listeners
Hmm.
and why it brought you to wanting to like race the horse?
Mm-hmm. I so I've been a runner for a very long time, and it's always been something that has meant a lot to me, and it's been kind of the way that I feel strong and also a way that I sort of process the world. So when something tough in my life happens, I go for a run, or if I'm confused or trying to figure out a problem in my life, if I can't think my way through it, I'll go for a run and I'll run on it. And it'll be kind of like my body will intuit an answer sometimes that my mind can't always intuit.
That's cool.
And
Mm.
there's something mysterious about the intelligence of the body. Um, so it's always been a big part of me. And a few years ago, just completely out of the middle of nowhere, I started getting seizures. And there really was no warning sign. It just sort of suddenly started happening. And which was bizarre. I never thought something like that could happen to me. Not that I thought I was so above things, you know. And I understand death. I see it around me and see it with people that I care about and, as a member of the world. But it's different when it starts to like be right there in your face, like, oh, this is a thing that, your own mortality. And so at first I processed, oh man, I got to go run on that and think on that. But after I started to get multiple seizures and they were unable to control them via medicine effectively, then we started to, need to pull back on running for safety. Just because if you have a seizure in the middle of the street, like, we're crossing in a big city, that's not great, if there's cars coming or cement, things like that, like you need to kind of be more a little bit aware of yourself. And I felt that too, just a little bit of like anxiety about that. So suddenly couldn't run anymore. And that was really difficult because here it was, this thing that I was kind of emotionally struggling with. I would normally go run, but now part of that I can't run. And part of the struggle is I can't, it just like became this loop of sort of like frustration. And I think sometimes when tough stuff happens in our lives, it's and when things that feel so bizarre, oftentimes we need some sort of hope to get us through, you know? And when everything in the world felt so absurd and random, like I was saying, like I understood mortality as a concept, but when it happens to you, it's sort of like it kind of like the way you view the universe suddenly like the order is no longer an order anymore. Like aliens exist, that kind of insanity, like, well, if I can, then then anything is possible. So it kind of made me think back to this dream I'd had many years ago to run against horses. And it before was just like this crazy idea that I'd had. Oh, wouldn't that be funny? Ha ha ha. If I raced a horse. And then when everything suddenly seemed so absurd, it kind of like took on this sort of like, well, that's the thing that I need to do. That's the thing that it'll be my way of proving to myself that I'm like, if I'm good enough that I can raise a horse, then I'm back to be able to be me, back to being able to be me. So it became kind of like this holy grail to sort of work towards to pull me out of a tough spot.
Do you feel back to you? Do you feel like it worked?
To some extent, like I feel connected more to my normal life again until
Yeah.
towards like the pieces that I feel stabilized again in many ways, not just medically, but in my sense of self. But it's not the same sense of self that was before all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think for better or for worse, when things happen, in life, good and bad, they do sort of reconfigure our sense of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I am this other thing, whether or not I wanted to be, that those experiences have shaped me. And that's something that is that's new. That's a new puzzle piece there that wasn't there before. That's, what I learned along the way is also a part of that. So I found myself, but it wasn't the same self.
It's wild to me, like listening to it as someone who's very, I have friends who run marathons, but like the ultra marathons and running that distance is pretty foreign to me. And the fact that there is a community that runs with horses, the man versus horse run that you mentioned is it Arizona?
Yeah,
That this
Arizona.
was already there. What was it like when you found another group of ultra runners ready to race a horse?
It was insane. They're very serious. Like,
Oh my gosh,
I went there
love
thinking it
seeing
was right. I went there thinking like this is gonna be like a bunch of goofballs like me who are like, wouldn't it be funny if I raced against horse? But it turns out and I don't know if this is because it's physically close to Flagstaff, which is where a lot of runners live, like fancy runners, or if it's just ultra runners as a personality type want to do sort of wacky things. But when I was there, I met like all the many of the top ultra runners, including also an Olympian marathon runner, Molly
Awesome.
Seidel. And I just like was completely shocked because I thought this was going to be this, I don't know, backyard race of like goofballs, and it was very intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you introduced it, it sounded like maybe somebody who had done CrossFit for a couple weeks and then decided they could race a horse. And then you got into it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a full world of
Do you think the
ultra
horses
runners.
feel embarrassed when they lose? Like, do the horses' energy change when they lose?
I mean, wouldn't yours,
100%.
Or was there one particular horse where you're like, I'm going to beat that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Screw this one.
Screw that one.
There was one horse that I was kind of like that I had my eye on. I met this horse at the beginning of the ride. Her name was Tuck, and actually, I don't know what the horse's pronouns were, to be honest. But I met the horse. I met the horse, and its owner. It's human, I should say. Said that they planned on being last place because they wanted to just sort of like take it easy. And there actually is an award for last place in endurance riding. And they don't call it running, with endurance racing. Sorry, they call it endurance riding, which is a very interesting perspective on doing a competition because they don't want to emphasize that aspect of like pushing your horse too hard. So they value the tail end as well. So I just kept Tuck in mind, thinking like I just got to beat Tuck, like I just got to beat like the last of the last. I just have to like aim for that.
Oh.
Well,
You gotta set your sights high, right?
100. You know what? If you're racing a horse, I think your sights are already high.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not.
That's
I'm
right.
not
Perspective wise, they're like 8
Yes.
feet up, right?
Yeah.
But now when I walk out of here, I think all of my life goals will be like, just gotta beat Tuck.
Yeah.
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 Your podcast includes a lot of conversations with people close to you, your family and friends, your partner. Like, well, how did you get them to, like, what was that like for you to get them in these vulnerable moments and to have them on this journey with you? Also, the journey of your love story, which is also
I mean, I was smiling through all of that.
obsessed.
Yeah, who's also now a runner.
I know.
You
Yeah.
made her a runner. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. Now she's a force that cannot be stopped. She's the one who's like, let's do this other race,
Oh,
What time are you running? You know?
Aw.
So it's
Fantastic.
very cute. Um, so I had started by a few years ago, my first feature documentary actually featured my brother and his friends. So they started to get used to like me following them around with a camera. At first it was very odd for them, but then they just were like, "Oh, Nicole, you know, this is her." And so there was some familiarity. But what's nice about a microphone is that it's a lot smaller than a camera. So it's easier to forget it's there. But there was some, and I'm sure you all as media makers are used to this too. It takes a minute for people to kind of get comfortable with the equipment and like the knowledge that that's there. But with time, they slowly kind of get used to it. I'd say Marielle sometimes though would be like, Habibi, do we really have to record this? Habibi, no. And I'd be like, come on. Habibi, no.
Well, I think it's also very like you started it's early in your relationship that you're doing that, which is so amazing too. I'm like thinking about the people that I dated. Like I'm thinking about my wife now. I was like, would I be able to do that with? I don't know.
You would.
No, okay.
You would.
That's very sweet.
I can barely get her in an Instagram photo.
That's true. I would not.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
I
no,
can.
you couldn't do it.
No, she's very
No.
private.
Aw.
Well, I think it just speaks to how much people around you must have believed in you and your
Yeah.
journey, and that's pretty cool.
It's really a beautiful balance between an individual's story and
Mhm.
goal, dealing with this diagnosis, becoming an ultra marathoner like, over the course of this series. But your team does feel like such a vibrant part of the story as well, which is just no question, really. Just good job. I really love the way it's everything is woven together. It's just really beautiful.
If you were gonna pitch this, I kind of want to hear how you pitched it to, you know, whoever bought this story from you, whoever took on this story. I know it's 30 for 30, but whoever you went in the room with. I can't really imagine being able to understand if I was in the room and someone was like, I want to race a horse." So what was your elevator pitch for whoever you were like, "I want to get the story made. Will you help me?"
Oh man. Okay. What did I say? Let me recall. Okay, it starts out kind of intense. So
Okay.
just heads up there. A little
Okay.
intense. Um, so I said, imagine you're athletic, you're healthy, you're feeling good, life is going well, and then one day, you're training for your second marathon. One day you get really kind of sleepy and you feel like you need to take a nap, and you don't normally take naps. So you sit down to rest, and then you wake up in an ambulance covered in blood. Suddenly, everything that you thought about your life is been turned over. And you it's a little bit of like what I talked to you all about. Like you need some way to find a way back to yourself. You need a sense of hope. For some people that's like God, some people that's religion, some people that's astrology. Um, but for me that was hope was a horse.
Print it.
Going to the horse thing.
That's awesome.
And the fact that you're not a horse girl
I know.
and you were so drawn to do this was fascinating to me too. That you were like, yeah, I don't want to have a strong relationship with a horse. I just want to beat it. Trying to run.
I met a lot of horse girls though along the path.
I'm
Like
sure.
I get the appeal now, but at first, like, I don't admit, I was like, because I don't know, they're kind of scary.
Yeah.
These horses, like they're really big.
Oh, I thought you meant
the horse
girls. And I was
girls.
like, yes.
Yes.
Oh no, the horse girls are also scary. They're their own type of scary, right?
Scary, we respect.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
Like Virgos.
Yes, exactly. We respect it. Actually, I don't
Exactly.
think this is giving anything away, but there is a moment where you tail a horse.
Wow. Yes.
Mm,
Can
mhm.
you talk about that? What exactly is that?
What does it look like?
Yeah, what does it look like? And
Oh
like,
my gosh.
And how scared were you?
Oh my goodness. It was the wildest thing I think I might have ever done in my life. It was just totally nuts. So I was at a point in the race, and I won't give too much away, where I was utterly exhausted, feeling hopeless, and had kind of like, okay, this is it. And my body was so tired. I think my brain wasn't necessarily working in the way that a reasonable person who has sound judgment would be working. And a horse rider and horse came up to me, and they were about to pass me. And it is a little bit scary when they pass you because it's a small trail, a single track trail. So there isn't a whole lot of room for bodies on it, be it horse or human. So I kind of was like, okay, I got to move over into the bushes, which previously the day before there was like poison ivy, but I was like, I got to do it. And then the rider comes up and is like, do you want to tail? And I had to ask a few times, excuse me, like, do I want to what? I'd never heard of this term tail. And it's this thing amongst endurance riders where you get off your horse and you grab onto the horse's tail and it starts running and it pulls you along with it. And I guess some horses really enjoy this. Like
Whoa.
people run with their horses a lot. When you're doing this for like running, or when you're riding your horse for long distances, the horse gets tired. So this gives the horse a chance to kind of like take a break, but also they view humans as kind of part of their herd. Not every horse, but a lot of these horses do. So it's kind of fun for them, I guess. But I didn't know that. I just like was asked, "Do you want a tail?"
So are
And I
you
was like, "Excuse me."
Are you moving?
Yeah,
Do
are
you
you behind?
stop?
Are you behind the horse? Like, or are you next to the horse with the tail? I just like, where are you?
Where am I physically in space
Yeah.
with the tail?
Yes.
Um, so the horse came in front of me, um, and just trotted along, stopped, and I took the horse's tail in my hands. And what should be noted is that there was actually another horse behind us. So I was sandwiched between two horses. And then the rider was like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "I guess so." And then the horse takes off down this single trail. I'm holding onto the tail, and my legs are moving faster than they could by themselves. So it's sort of like when you're on a bike and the wheels are going so quickly, like you don't even want to press the brakes because you're like, I will fly off this thing.
Yeah.
It was like that. But the horse's butt is like, very close to my face. And I'm, which has got a lot of things. There's a lot of things
Yeah.
going on there,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Poop.
then there's the feet.
Yeah,
There's
thanks, Jen.
poop, right?
For the listeners, they don't know.
It was gonna be poop. Yeah.
And then there's those hooves. They're just like flying towards you, and like it's a little scary. But what was most scary is that there's that other horse directly behind me. And that if I let go, like that horse is just gonna trample me. So you're just like, and your feet are you're that downhill bicycle thing with your feet. So it is, I did not really know what I was getting myself into when I said like, sure, let's tail. But
How long did
yeah,
you go for that?
Yeah.
I mean, people could go for a long time. I think it depends on how fast the horse is going, right? And how good of a runner that runner is. But this horse was going kind of fast, and I was at this point in the race very exhausted. So I could hardly keep my own legs moving, let alone keep up with the horse's legs. So in one sense, I was going a lot faster than I could alone, which was really exciting because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm tired and but on the other hand, I cannot keep that up.
How
And I
fast do
do
you think
not
the
want
horse was
that
going?
horse butt in my face.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, how long do you think you tailed for?
Oh, maybe somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. but it's
That's
like
crazy.
you're moving
That's
fast.
so
nuts.
That's so long.
I think you're gonna be like 90
It was
seconds.
wild.
I know.
100%. I did not expect 5 minutes.
No.
I did
It
not
was
either.
wild.
I was like maybe a football field.
This is crazy. We've talked a lot about your running and a lot about these cool ass horses, and I think the thing that we haven't hit for me is like your epilepsy is like also, you know, this like massive part of the podcast, and obviously, you know, we started by talking about how your journey really changes once you get epilepsy, but what is like going on in your body when you're experiencing that kind of, you know, either fatigue or freedom while you're on this racetrack, and you've been really going through it mentally so much, trying to figure out, like, you know, your whole life has changed with this diagnosis. Like, were you thinking about that while you were running? Were you processing any of that?
Yes. I think the race was I created as a way to kind of come to terms with it, so to speak. So when I'm on the race, it's at the forefront of my mind to some extent. To some extent, I'm just like surviving 50 miles. I'm exhausted. Like I'm just trying to get through it. But when my mind does have a moment to like think and ponder, which it also does because you're out there for a really long time, it does go back to the origin story of why I'm here. And I think in many senses, there's this like, there's two different sort of directions. One is, what is it going to mean after all this is done? You know? And then the other aspect that I'm kind of like teetering between two things of how I think about my body is, you know, it kind of failed me in this way, in that in the epilepsy way, and that really sucks. And I didn't really have control over it. And there's things that our bodies do that we don't want them to do, and we don't like or feel connected to. But then there was this other thing that I could make it to, which is run 50 miles against a horse. And that was something that my body does do that I feel good about, that I felt proud of, and that it made me feel empowered. So my relationship with my body is like complex in that there's not everything that I like about it, but there are some things that I think are pretty cool about it too. And I think that that's a healthy relationship. Like we don't have to like I don't need to like that I have epilepsy.
Yeah.
But it is okay to like appreciate the things that it can do. You know, there's like a yin and a yang there, I guess. I don't know.
I have found your entire story fascinating. I know that we all did, and I cannot wait for our jock straps, our buddies, our listeners to listen in to Girl v Horse on 30 for 30 podcasts. But now is maybe the most important question of all, and like,
well,
please take
I have
your
a question
time.
for you too.
Oh yes.
Okay, well, are you horse girls?
We did get to ride horses, actually.
Well,
we get to meet them.
Well, we got to meet them with one of our jock straps who invited us to a farm out in not Anaheim, but it was like
in Norco.
Yeah.
In Norco.
Whoa.
I am allergic. But I grew up in Kentucky around horses a lot, but I'm very allergic. So.
Wow, I didn't know you could be allergic to horses. That's so interesting.
Oh, you sure can.
She was. She is.
Yeah, I did.
Are you
okay there though?
Physically or emotionally allergic?
Oh, it is physical. Emotionally, I'm in love with them, but not a horse girl. But yeah, totally. I can go to horse races. Should I? I don't know. But I kind of have to be away from the track.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't identify as a horse girl, but I support all horse girls. I get the lifestyle.
I get it.
They're beautiful. I'll occasionally ride one if the opportunity comes. I would never seek it out. Essentially, the horse has to come to me.
Yes.
It needs to trot to you.
Yes, it needs the horse has to trot to me.
I like riding horses. I kind of think that I have them like big. I can't explain this, and I won't give any details. I think of them like big gay cats. I think energetically, every time I'm on a horse, I'm like, this is a little gay cat.
Another thing I'm allergic to.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay,
kind of
so-
goes together.
Okay.
So, Katie, you no more no horsing around for you, right?
No horsing around. None at all.
But you still enjoyed feeding them celery. And
I did
carrots.
enjoy feeding them. Okay, I know we have to leave soon, but we have 2 questions for you. My question right now is, was the horse's tail sweaty when you grabbed it?
And is there like a little cord inside, or is it like if you cut off all their hair, is there nothing there?
And did you
Like a
hold it with
cat's
2
tail.
hands? I know. I'm sorry. I'm really
so
obsessed with the tail.
With the tailing.
Oh man, and I mean, I guess it's perfect that we're speaking about this at the tail end of the
Yeah.
There we go.
There was like a cord thingy in it. It was so bizarre. It was weird and it was thick and the hair was coarse, which was like, I guess that makes sense. It rhymes with horse.
Yes.
Coarse and horse.
If it rhymes, it's true.
Yes.
Then it's got to be true, right?
And 2 hands, 1 hand.
Definitely 2 hands. I mean, if you're flying at that
I'm
speed, you got to
sorry.
be holding with 2 hands. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know what kind of life you live, but it's 2 hands, girl.
Crazy, Tien.
Sorry. Sorry.
We're gonna
Texting with the other hand.
We're gonna be sending you a lot of messages about the horse tail, but
Yeah.
we do have to ask you this final question because it's really important to us,
Yes.
and like you're gonna learn something about us. Take your time. This is really, really personal.
Oh man, I'm scared.
So there is a sport called power slapping, where 2 people stand with their feet planted facing each other, and they slap each other basically till the other one passes out. Who
With
would
each other's feet?
No, hands.
their feet are planted. They're facing each other. They're face to face, and then one of them does
Okay.
the first power slap right across the face.
Okay.
It's someone is always bleeding. Someone goes deaf.
It's hard
someone
to watch,
passes out.
honestly.
But
Kind of like a
Yeah,
Fight
we've
Club
kind of-
thing? Okay.
yeah, it's like a Fight Club thing, but we've decided to turn it into kink. And so, who would you want to be power slapped by?
Now, to give you some
Oh,
time
that's
to
a good
think, we can
question.
give you our answers.
Mine is
Yeah,
written advice.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. I feel like
Yeah.
I got a new. I am changing mine to Kate Winslet.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah,
She's been in the. She's got a new.
yeah.
Okay,
I know,
I love
new
that
movie,
update.
and I saw her recently on my YouTube.
I was
and-
like,
in
Yeah.
person, no. And I want to be slapped by her.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
mine
Yes.
holds steady with
Cherry Jones.
Cherry
Cherry
Jones. Yeah.
Always Cherry.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Always Cherry.
So
Hmm. Okay. I just recently watched I Saw the TV Glow. Have you all seen
Oh
that?
yes.
I
No.
haven't seen it
My
Okay.
yet.
friend Jane directed that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, whoa. I mean, what is the name of the
Mhm.
best friend? I'm trying to remember what that actress's name is.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh wait, you know Jane. I know Jane
Do you really?
from back in the day. Yeah, yeah.
I
like
met
10
Jane up
years
in the
ago.
Poconos. They were directing a music video for Lucy Dacus that I was in.
Oh
And
my
so it's
gosh,
like
that's
a small little
amazing.
queer world. How
Oh
do you know
wow,
Jane?
that's wonderful. When Jane worked at IFP, my film was like tangential to them, and we met through various IFP things, and they were very supportive. Yeah, so that's how I know Jane.
Jane rules.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out her name. The actress, I think is an actor. Is it Bridget? Bridget.
It looks like Bridget
Yes.
Lundy Payne.
Okay,
Wait,
I
wait.
love her.
Yes,
Okay,
that is who.
Harry,
I just saw that movie and I was like,
Hold on, we have
that
to look
person.
this
Okay, now
person up.
okay, now I need to know. Okay,
Bridget.
I lost my phone.
okay, I'll find it for you. I'll find it for you.
What is
Okay.
it? What is it, Harry?
Bridget
Bridget Lundy, LUNDY-PAINE.
Lundy.
Gorgeous name.
Lundy.
My phone is gone.
Oh,
God.
Yeah,
They were such a
yes.
great actress,
yeah. They
Okay.
are an absolute hottie.
Okay, total hottie.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good actor. I mean,
Okay.
You don't always have both.
yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing it.
100%.
Yeah, congratulations.
I'm rooting.
This is
for
a
you.
really good pick, and I really
Thank
feel
you.
I feel grateful for you for taking your time on that and coming up with something so absolutely solid.
Yep.
Good job. Really great
I did
work.
have to Google the name though, you know.
That's
It is that
okay.
kind of like esoteric aspect. So
We're at
sorry
that
about that.
It's new. It's new.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us. Jockstraps, please listen to
It's
her
so
podcast,
good.
Girl v. Horse, through the ESPN 30 for 38. You can get it everywhere. I imagine everywhere you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Everywhere.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Listen to it. It's awesome. And find out.
Congratulations. Also, this is really awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for having me, you all. This was so lovely. I
Thank
love
you.
chatting with all these non-horse girls.
Sorry.
We might be texting you more things about the
Yeah,
the
we're gonna ask
cord
about the
that's
tail.
inside the tail. For
Yeah.
sure.
Really makes me nervous.
Give us 3 days and we'll all be horse girls, right?
Oh my god, that's true. Everyone's a horse girl on the inside.
Should I Google
Harry.
bald horsetail?
Yeah. Yeah. I wanna-
Should you? I don't know.
Don't do that.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Come
Okay.
on. Okay. Yeah, I guess we
Bald
should.
horse.
It's like Bridget Lundy Payne and then bald horsetail. They think I'm looking at the same person.
Oh,
Bald
oh my
horse.
gosh.
No, please don't
Wait a
say, oh my
minute.
gosh. Is it?
I'm seeing it's a tiny little, it's like,
Oh.
It's a little cord right at the top.
It is just
Cord. Oh my gosh. What
Yeah,
a
yeah,
word
it's-
for it.
yeah, it's like,
I really don't like
I don't
that.
like it at
I
all.
can't.
I can't.
Count me out. I'm not a horse
No,
girl.
I never identified.
Ew, I don't like that at all.
No, she's not winning me over with that tail.
No, in fact, she's
Oh.
out.
Yeah.
I am getting pissed off looking at this thing.
Hair.
What the fuck?
You don't want a
You
slap
all are
competition
welcome.
with that tail? You don't want
No.
that tail slapping you?
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh
Oh my
my
God.
god.
Stop it.
Don't worry, we're gonna send it. We're gonna Jockstraps. We will put this up
Yep.
online. You will be seeing this.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Nicole.
Nicole,
you,
thank
Thank
Nicole.
you so much for having me.
It was lovely
Appreciate
to
it.
meet you.
So nice to meet
Hopefully
you.
we'll meet
Nice
you
to
in
meet you
person
as
soon.
well. Say
Yes,
hey if y'all come to New York.
Likewise
Hell
in
yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
Will do.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.